My name is Dale Asrael. I live in Boulder, Colorado, and I'm a professor at Naropa University. And I'd like to say a few things about why Drala Mountain Center has become my favorite place to practice and to teach. The word for retreat, in the sense of meditation retreat, in the Tibetan language is the word Sam, T-S-A-M, and it literally means boundaries. So in retreat, we stay within the boundaries of the retreat. At Drala Mountain Center, I experience this more as container rather than boundary. A container that supports our practice, encourages practice, and allows practice to expand. Traditionally, there are three boundaries: body, speech, and mind. At Drala Mountain Center, I experience the container of body first by being on the land. The land is so powerful, that broad valley surrounded by the ring of mountains. And walking on the trails of the land, over and over, I find that my perception is so clear that suddenly I see in detail in a way differently than I ordinarily would. I think it's the combination of the land and practicing on the land, but um, uh, seeing something suddenly, like the way the pine needles are, or the way the sky is. Noticing it in such detail, it completely cuts through the bubble of thoughts that I find myself in. And it happens again and again. And so the land becomes a kind of teacher. The container of body, of course, is also what we experience in the stupa, because it has been constructed along ancient guidelines to evoke the glimpse of open mind. The container of speech comes from how we handle talking at our retreats and programs. Some programs are very interactive with a lot of group discussion and dialogue and inquiry, and some retreats are completely silent, and some are in between, silence and also teaching and one-to-one meditation guidance and group discussion. When we approach our speech with so much intentionality, I find that I become much more quiet inside and I become a better listener. So I hear the sounds of nature more than I usually would. And I hear the sounds of the languages of people who come from all over the world to practice and to train at Drala Mountain Center. And when I talk with others, I find that I'm so much more present and curious and wanting to understand what they say. And I even hear myself differently. I can hear my own thoughts, even those self-critical ones, with much more understanding and empathy. And I can hear or feel the deepest longing of my own heart to connect with whatever is most authentic in myself and in life. The container of mind comes from the motivation of people who come to Drala Mountain Center. Individually, we each have our own motivation. And then as a group, it becomes a tangible quality for me to feel the shared motivation of the group, all wanting to discover something. And sometimes I feel that even all the decades, years and years of Drala Mountain Center, all the people who've come and have practiced and trained, sometimes the motivation even feels that depth. When I teach at Drala Mountain Center, the students tell me that their practice is different at Drala, and in some way it's more available to them. They find it easier to practice within those containers at Drala Mountain Center. I find that my own practice is more resilient than in other settings, but each of us is individual, and I wonder what it's like for you. These are a few of the reasons that I am a supporter of Drala Mountain Center. Thank you for listening.